All right. Yeah, let me start out with, I don't know about you guys, but that game felt like a grind, a rising grind. You like that, how I threw that in there? No, really, it really was a grind. And it was interesting because I didn't think we played particularly well. I mean, when you have your backcourt shoot, what did we end up shooting? I mean, 3 for 13? Wow. No, not 3 for 13. Worse. 2 for 17, the starting backcourt. You think you're going to be in trouble, but our defense was really on point, and it felt like it was a tough game, but it never felt like it got out of control. So I was really happy to see that. And then you see a guy like Roberto Nelson who goes 1 for 9, but he has 7 assists. So, finding other ways to win is what we're going to need as we grind it out going forward. And, that team is much better with Devontae. I mean, that kid just knows how to score. So we were very fortunate to come away with it. But it feels good that we're not, getting in a little foul trouble, having a little tough game at home and being able to pull it out. So with that, why don't I open up for questions?
50 fouls, Greg. I mean, I know it wasn't really an easy game to watch.
Yeah.
The bottom line for this game that you found a way to win, maybe in past seasons it might not have.
Oh, absolutely. We talk about that a lot this season as to how a lot of these games in the past we wouldn't have figured out how to win our way out of it, and that's that. You've heard me talk about experiential behavior, and we've had enough experience at that. So, and we're a veteran team, so it's really good to see other people step up. I mean, Langston Morris Walker stepping up and hitting some shots there when guys aren't playing as well as they have in the past. It's a good feeling, and we don't want to have to depend on playing poorly and winning. We want to play well and win, especially as we move forward.
Adversity in the sense that Roberto not shooting well, the three-pointers not falling in fouls, they've been able to win?
That's a very good point, Chris. I'm not sure because usually when one person doesn't play well, you have a couple of guys step up. Like when Roberto doesn't have his best game, Hallis has a good game, or when Devon doesn't have a good game, Eric has a good game. We've got some guys to sort of, and Angus has been sort of the stalwart over the last, I don't know how many games, but he's been the boss. He's the guy who we feel like has been the most consistent. So we have, it seems, it's hard to tell in my head because we've always had somebody else step up, and I'm usually sitting here saying, well, so-and-so didn't play as well, but then we got help from over here. But this feels like the first time that our backcourt, which has been really good this year, hasn't had as much good fortune, and we were able to sort of win this with our front court and guys coming off the bench.
Talk about Angus's consistency. What's been key for him throughout this stretch?
You know what, Grady? I believe this because I see it and I feel it, that he's just, an injury like that, and I don't want to use football because football is a different sport, but they always say, I always hear this in football because it happens more, that it really takes you a year of playing to get back to where you were playing. So what I'm seeing, what we're all seeing with Angus is each week or each set of game, each weekend, he's getting better, stronger, faster, and more confident. And then I watch him during the week. I mean, yeah, you guys know I talk about this in the weekly press conference that he is in the gym every day. I mean, he's already graduated, so his graduate studies are in being good, and he is working every day, no matter how sore he is, his shoulder, his knees, his back. He's in there getting shots up, and it gives you a level of confidence, and I think that's what it is. He's just working his way back into the shape he was in before he got hurt.
Angus said that stick together, that phrase was kind of a theme throughout the night.
Yeah.
Can you explain that and why?
Well, because when things aren't going your way and you're not getting foul calls and you think you should be, and you're watching the other team go to the foul line, and I'm speaking as one of the players. This is what I've felt in the huddle. There's a level of frustration that comes over each person individually, and then it seeps into the collective. And our job as coaches in a situation like that is to get everybody to calm down, not worry about themselves and their own individual situation, and stay together. We were saying stay together a lot today, you know, and it is. I mean, as Chris pointed out, it's the first game where, I mean, you know, Hallis couldn't buy a basket. Roberto couldn't get it. It took him. Maybe he shot 2 foul shots in the first half. You know, he couldn't buy a basket, and Eric missed a lot around the rim and got in foul trouble. Langston got in foul trouble. So there was a lot of adversity, and these are young guys, and they all get upset over it. And, you know, it's my job being the old guy to say, calm down, stick to what you're doing. You're going to get some calls. And then I make the refs mad at me, and then they stop being worried about themselves.
Langston gives up that and one to Lacey, I think, in the first 40 seconds.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, oh, here you go. It's going to be a long night.
Oh, man.
What changed after he got those 9 points in the first 3, 4, 5 minutes that you guys were able to lock him down a little bit?
We made it to the first 4-minute timeout, and we just needed to regroup. And I'll share something with you guys about our position these days. You know, this is the first time that these guys in that locker room have had important games this time of year. And let's face it, they know it's important. Thanks to you guys, thanks to the situation, thanks to me, they know it. And there's a lot of pressure on them. And when there's a lot of pressure, you get a little shaky. And I thought they handled it real well. Those guys came out, punched us in the mouth, and we just stuck together, got back on plan, and started defending. And that was, I think, when we got to the first 4-minute timeout, everybody was in there saying, we got to defend, we got to stick to the game plan. I didn't even have to say it. And I didn't really have to jump on them. They were really a little disappointed in themselves, and sort of, they rose, the tide rose with all of them, and we just started playing better defense. That's what I saw.
I've had a slow start. Wazzu kind of gets out to that lead. I think you guys are in a little bit of a malaise.
Yeah.
Devon coming off the bench, how important was he?
That was good because Devon, you know, they were doubling Angus. I mean, Angus has been our sort of, like I said, he's been the go-to guy for the last, I don't know how many games, maybe 10 games. He's been solid, double figures, get the ball down low, score in the paint. And they were doubling him from the very beginning and making life miserable for him. We put Devon in. It's hard to double 2 guys, you know, because then you're really out of position. Devon goes right on attack mode, right in attack mode. And Devon one-on-one is almost tougher than Angus one-on-one. And that helped out a lot. It was good to see him fresh legs and aggressive.
I asked Angus when the last time he wasn't satisfied with how he played, and he pointed out that he only had 2 rebounds today and 2 turnovers. So, is perfection something that he kind of demands of himself, and how high do you think his?
I do, and especially the turnovers, because he knows we rely on him to take care of the ball, and he knows in our offense the center gets to handle the ball way more than any other offense in the country. So he prides himself on not turning the ball over. But then I'll point out that that's how Angus is. He is a perfectionist. He's a straight A student. He's not settling for the B- or the C+. He wants every one of his games to be good points, good rebounds, good assists, good steals, and no turnovers. And his man doesn't score. And he accomplished all of that. His man didn't score. I thought he passed out of the double team really well. He didn't get credited for assists, but when he felt the double team, he would get out of it, and he made a couple of bad passes that he's not going to even be able to live with until the next game. But I'm sure he didn't point out to you, he had 2 or 3 steals. I mean, he's a center. He had 2 or 3 steals. So we'll let. I mean, I barely have to coach him. I mean, he shows up for work, punches the clock. I give him his paycheck. He go, you know, I'm like, it's one of those boss type situations. He's running his own division. You know what I mean? So if he doesn't think he played a good game, I know in his mind he feels like he didn't, but I have to make him understand we wouldn't be in this position of hopefully having a chance to get to 500 here late and without him.
That stick together attitude Eric has to sit out for 10 minutes with his
Yeah.
foul, and Langston fouls out with about 4.5 left.
It really did. And then Roberto was beside himself. I don't know if you guys could tell, but he was not a happy camper tonight. And it was really good to see us all kind of come together and make this game. I mean, you know, it was a tough game, but toward the end, it felt like we were going to win. All we had to do was just stay together, stay on point. It was good to see them do that. It really was. I mean, as you've mentioned in the past, you know, 1-3 or a 3-point play down there, we don't come back down and answer. We take a bad shot or turn it over, they make another 3, and then it's like a 3-point game. And it's nice not to have that happen.
Getting back to Lacey, how do you feel overall? How do you guys did against him tonight?
I thought we did a good job. I mean, you know, I thought he had to work for, after he had I think he had the first 5, and then he had 9 of their first 12. After that 9, he was working hard. And it showed on the foul shots, because that kid makes most of his foul shots. At least against us, he's always made them. And he missed a couple, 2 or 3 right at the end there. I think he was worn out. But that team is completely different with him. And had he been able to play all season long, they probably would have a better record.
How nice is it to get another crack at 500 at home on Saturday?
It's really nice, and it's really hard. That's my message to everyone. It's my message to the team. It's my message to the fans. It's my message to the staff. It's hard, but we're right here, and we like playing in Gill. I mean, it is the friendly confines. That's Wrigley Field.
What you learned from that game earlier against Washington?
I think the biggest lesson, and you know, we didn't dwell on this much when it happened, because if you remember the situation last time, we had our split and we were trying to get the sweep of the weekend. I didn't want to demoralize them after that game, because we needed to be in good spirits coming back here. We were coming back home. But I thought we let them get us out of our game plan. Offensively, I thought defensively we did a good job on CJ, and if you got to live with a freshman scoring 30 if he can do it. But what I thought we did was, when they started making their run, we came back and tried to win the game with one play. You know, it's one of those make one pass, shoot a 3, try and get back in the game that way. We didn't weather their runs, and it's been hard to weather their runs up there, you know. So we'll focus on that. We'll focus on defending. We really haven't had much trouble scoring. Now I say that, I'm probably whammying ourselves for Saturday, but it's really the defensive end and the rebounding. That's how you keep them from making big runs like they do when they're at home.
Team finished with 10 turnovers tonight, 12 or fewer in the last 3 games. How much better are you feeling about that stat?
It's what we aim for every single year, of trying to get under 10 or under 10 turnovers, and to have 3 in the second half when I know our guys were a little bit tired and they're putting the pressure on, is just showing me a little bit more maturity. And to be doing that, I mean, you know, Hallis Cook, I mean, how many did he have today? He only had 1 turnover today. He only had 1 turnover, and I remember it now that we talk about it. I was trying to call timeout, and it was interesting because I saw him dribbling around, and he had that look in his face, and I turned to call timeout, and he's not giving me the timeout, so I'm yelling at him that I want a timeout, but I missed the fact that he had actually lost the ball. So I could have prevented that one, and I was just a second too late. So I'll take the blame for that turnover.